Hey there everybody, welcome back. I am the Gerbil, and today I want to talk about 5 characters in the game that I really like a lot, but don't use almost ever anymore. There's a lot of reasons for it. This has nothing to do with characters being good or bad, so I am not going to be talking about Cup or, Jedi Knight Guardian or any of those other like Ugnaught sucks kind of characters. I'm actually going to talk about some characters that have incredible viability, but I don't use, and neither do a lot of other people, and I'll explain why, sort of. It's just kind of my casual conversation. So anyway, let's get started, shall we? The first character is a recent one, IG-12 and Grogu. Oh boy, so this was a character that a lot of us geeked out hardcore when it came to the game. We were all, everybody who likes the Mandalorian show loves Grogu. IG-12 as a mech suit for Grogu was just wickedly fun. The kit is really interesting. There's so much comedy in it with abilities like no, yes, no, 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 and yes, yes, yes. However, he's been in the game for a while, he's farmable, and I have yet to come across him once in Kyber 2 or Kyber 1. I just do not see this character anywhere in the game. And maybe that's because he's not good, but I don't think so. I actually think the character is quite viable. Now, the charts you're seeing here are stripped off of SWGOH.gg, and these are data straight from the top 100 guilds in game by GP. So this would include like Ka, Ma, whatever all those top people are that I honestly don't look at ever. I don't try to emulate them very much. My gameplay is very much path less traveled. But it's worth looking at what these meta-busting people are doing. And we can see that right underneath me here, gear level distributions. Only 44% of the players in the top 100 guilds have taken IG-12 to gear 13. Only 44%. That's really notable because these are players who are end game, who have 11, 12, 13 million GP accounts, who have, like 20 Relic 9s or 30 Relic 9 characters, who have lots of resources, who whale on whatever they want. And less than half did. So that seems to imply that the character is really underutilized. And if we look at like how he's modded, this is generally a good indication of how effective or how usable a character is by how people mod them. We can see that only 42% of the people have agreed on a modding strategy of health and speed, and it's really odd. Like you can look at the distribution and the chart above this of health that speaks volumes. You can see how the modes, the highest, most common values there are still really low health pools. We're talking like 35,000 health pool, and towards the end of it where it actually gets up to where people would have modded it, it's a very low value. I mean, it's spread out, it's much wider, so they're probably about equal, but that represents kind of that 44% versus everything down there in the gear 11 and gear 8 underneath me here. So this is a character that I think was a really big missed opportunity from Capital Games. Either the character just isn't very good, and I hope to have a conversation about this, so I'd love to know what you all think in Discord or in the discussions chat group, messages, whatever down below. But like, people can't agree. Do we want health? Do we want speed? Do we want potency? Yeah, I don't know. As mine is only gear 8 and like 5-star, it's not a viable option for me, and it makes me kind of bummed out because, like, imagine the Mandalorian show without Grogu. Would you still love the show? Now, of course, there are plenty of people who are going to go, yeah, I live and breathe anything Mandalorian, but this character has united all Star Wars fans mostly and brought in a whole new generation of kids, and let's face it, there are very few women and female Star Wars fans relative to the male population. Now, if you want to disagree with me, fine. I can show you my analytics, and I've talked to other Star Wars players, including like Celiac Sarah. The demographics of YouTube watchers who play this game is like 99% male. It's like a sausage fest. Yet Grogu is really, really enjoyed by a lot of people, a very diverse group of fans. So this was an opportunity to bring in a lot more games players, a lot more gamers, increase the diversity of our player base, increase the revenue of Capital Games, which puts more investment into it, which gets us more events and more artwork and more animations, better animations. And we end up with a character that does not live up to it. So that's a bummer. Whatever. Moving on. Number 2, Cam. Wow. Now, Cam, there is no debate that Cam is an amazing character, but notice mine is gear 9. That's gear 8. Gear 8. Mine's gear 8. And only 5 stars? 5 stars. Why? My account is 11 million GP. Well, the problem is Cam is really, really inaccessible. Like, of all the farmable characters, I really feel like he is one of the most difficult to farm. Now, yes, he's in the Guild event store, but it's 2,100 Guild currencies, the harder one to get, for 5 shards, which means, like, my guild gets 33 stars in Rise of the Empire territory battle. That means I basically get 15 cam shards a month. Now, if you need 330 of them, 15 a month means that you need 22 months or 2 years to farm him. That is unbelievably horrible at this day and age in this game, that it takes so long to farm him at this rate. Now, I have begged my guild to go back and do light side or whatever, the Geo battle, to get like 40, 50 cam shards. And my guild is like, it ain't gonna happen. A, the rewards aren't as good overall as Rise of the Empire. And B, nobody wants to relive the cam mission. It's incredibly hard, hence the graphic below me. In fact, the mission, I'm not actually saying the mission is super, super hard. It is tricksy. There is definite strategy and modding that is required. It is way more challenging than the Riva unlocked mission, honestly. And if you want some evidence to how sneaky challenging it is, there's an entire Discord server with a lot of people in there called 50 Shards of Cam that is dedicated to helping people unlock Cam. And yet, Cam's really, really good. I mean, his unique alone, I love this unique. At the start of each battle, all allies of, if all allies of Galactic Republic and Jedi, they have plus 30 speed. So right off the get, your team gets 30 speed. They gain 40% max health and 20% offense. That's not even a leadership ability. That's just a unique, right? And then the Galactic Republic Jedi allies who are support and healers get an additional offense equal to 10% of their max health. That's a lot. And that is why Barriss, Isla, I'm pretty sure Isla, and Consular even suddenly become viable. Barriss becomes viable. Barriss is always viable. She's plug and play all over the place. But like Luminara, like, you can actually use her and several other Jedis that are just sitting in your bench 24/7 under Qui-Gon Jinn. It's fantastic. Or if you're going in, I think it's the Territory Wars with Kelleran back, right? And then put Cam in there. Cam just makes all Galactic Republic Jedi teams better. And I bet you money this guy is going to be a gate very soon for the next Galactic Republic capital ship, which is either this summer or next summer, but I think next summer now. And he's probably going to be one of the better characters for the upcoming Naboo raid. Seriously, I wish my guild would help me get him. Next on my list, Hondo Ohnaka, another substantially missed opportunity from Capital Games. I have not gone back to read his whole kit. I really should do that, but I feel like Hondo should have had a really awesome synergy with Jabba the Hutt. I'm sorry, I'm Ezra Bridger, because if you watched Rebels, and Hondo is in Rebels a lot, he's always doing things with Jabba. I'm Ezra. If you don't get the slip of tongue, it's on purpose. You are missing out. Ezra and Hondo had a great connection. They did all sorts of crazy things together. Hondo had an absolute affection for Ezra in a kind of mentor-like partner. Of course, he's always gonna, backstab you first opportunity, but he really connected with Ezra, and I think Ezra had a connection with Hondo as well. These guys should have had a really great synergy, and it also would have given Ezra a lot more viability today, because most people take out Ezra and put in Sabine in their Phoenix squads, and I'm seeing a lot of people using Ezra with GL Leia, but let's face it, there are better characters to use in there, especially the Kyber 1-2. Most people will seem to be putting in Captain Rex, it feels like. Captain Rex and Old Ben. But I just feel like this is an area that we could have done a lot more. Now, in the top 100 guilds, you can see here 90% of the players in top 100 guilds have Hondo relicked at Gear 13, which is a good indicator that he is really, really good. I mean, I run across him all the time. The problem is I run over him also all the time. That could just be my experience. I don't know what you all think, but on my alt account, which when my alt account was under 2 million GP, I got a 7-star Hondo unlock for free, and I don't remember how I did it. Maybe it was I don't remember. I don't know. I got a 7-star Hondo unlocked, and my alt account is now over 5 million GP. I have GL Leia, I have Reva, I have Executor, I almost have Rey, and I still have a 7-star Gear 10 Hondo. Because especially early game, there's just not much to do with him. I mean, you could build a scoundrel team early, but there are way better avenues to go to put your resources in there. I mean, if you're going for Executor, you're going to end up with a full Bounty Hunter squad. You don't need to do anything there. Dash is kind of out of the question unless you are pursuing a Profundity Rush, because Han Solo is going to go with CLS early game, and there's just no real home, in my opinion. So if you all disagree, again, let me know in the comments, and let's talk about it, and maybe I can help give some better advice to people going forward. But man, this is again one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars expanded universe beyond the franchise films, and he's kind of locked into one squad, maybe two. I don't know. Okay, next up, moving on. Number 4, the Imperial Probe Droid. Now, this is all data-driven here, but again, top 100 guild mods. Look at this. Only 31% of players, they go with speed and potency, and then 9% go with speed and health, and then 8% go with triple health, and then 7% go with health and double potency, and then triple potency. It's like the mods are all over the place. The reality is, almost nobody uses this poor fella, and again, he's iconic. He's a great character, and the kit is actually not bad, and it's arguably better off with in the old GG Nuke squad, but that's not really viable. I mean, it is viable, but there's way better General Grievous squads these days. But recently, Capital Gains gave us an Omicron. Unfortunately, it's for territory battles, and it's why? So, if you're doing Rise of the Empires and you try to build yourself an Empire territory battle, it's what's it gonna do for you? One of the problems before was that he exploded, dealing massive damage to target enemy, and then a lot of damage to everyone else, and it was good, but as the game matured, that damage just wasn't enough to justify sacrificing a character, and in Grand Arena, you're just throwing away points. Now, in Territory Battle, he revives at the start of each encounter, but there's only 2 phases in Rise of the Empire. Maybe in Darkside Geo, where you can get 6 phases out of it, that's not so bad. You get to boom many times. It's probably really good there, because whenever he goes boom with the Omicron, but that's a heavy investment. People totally forget about this Omicron. It's really good. He does additional damage equal to 200% of his health, and he loses all of his protection, gaining that much health. So at Relic 7, an unmodded one has 40,000 protection. Now you mod him right, you can double that to 80,000 protection. So what's happening is his health pool becomes about 140 to 150,000 health, and he goes boom, you double that, he's doing 300,000 damage straight up to some character, and then AoE splash damage. it's really, really good. Oh, plus the massive to the target. Now, the problem is, how do you revive him? You kind of like, I have been really trying to rack my brain around this. I can't think of any dark side character that's going to revive Imperial Probe Droid. I can't recall if Old Daka does a non-Night Sister revive, but I don't think so. You could revive him, of course, with Visas, but Visas is light side, Ewok Elder's light side, Vet Han is light side. So like in Rise of the Empire, you could go the middle route and get a lot of action out of this, but again, there's only 2 phases, and the other thing about it is like he's only going to revive that one time if you're relying on the phases. But the other thing is, when he does go boom, other Empire allies gain offense equal to 300% of his office. So your surviving Empire people are going to hit really hard. But again, in many of the phases, other than Inquisitors, a lot of the Empire characters just die real fast. So even if they're hitting harder, they're going to die faster. Or they're still going to die fast, not faster, but yeah, whatever. So it feels like you need a mixed squad, like maybe Palpatine, Vader, Ninth Sister, so you got a tank to hide behind, Imperial Probe Droid to go boom, and then like Vet Han, Ewok Elder, or Visas to revive it to go boom over and over again. It just seems wonky and a lot of investment to get some fun and play out of the character. So again, great, iconic character, really interesting, and honestly a good kit. But there are so many better places to put your resources. Just out of comparison, only 4,200 people in the world have given Probe Droid an Omicron, and underneath there's a Wampa. Why? Because that's the number 1 for comparison. 250,000 people have given Wampa the Omicron. So yeah. All right, last but not least, what would a gerbil video be without an Ewok, right? Teebo. Now, before you turn off the video, please listen, hear me out. Teebo's leadership is actually pretty good. It does not apply just to Ewoks. This is something people overlook. Allies, all allies, does not matter what the faction is. All allies at the have a 55% chance to gain stealth for 1 turn at the beginning of their turn. Now, why does that matter? How many times have you been stuck behind rotating stealth under Darth Maul? Or have you been up against Maul and the taunt keeps bouncing around? You know, it's maddening when you can't target somebody. And when they keep going into stealth, you can't necessarily gun them down. You're like, I want to kill this target. This guy has to die. Get rid of him. Die. Always in stealth again. Right? And then the other thing is they have a 50% chance to gain turn meter, 25% at the end of the turn. That's not a lot, but 25% adds up. So if you are able to take more turns, like you got a GL in there, I know it'd be silly or weird, but you got somebody really fast in there, there's so much opportunity. And then his basic, if you can target assist, his basic is removing 100% turn meter. On a basic, it's great. Problem, he's really slow. Problem, there's better leaders. But look at this. He is the first Ewok we see face to face in Return of the Jedi. He had his own book, actually a couple of them. We've got Legos. We've got Black Series. He's a very collectible toy. He's just not really playable anymore. I'm so sad. Even though mines are like 7. I really want to Relic 9 him just for the heck of it, because he's also a tank. So Relic 9 would get, I don't know, more health and protection, so he can go into stealth and hide. What's that all about? Why would it? Anyway, don't get me started. Anyway, so folks, yeah, here you go. 5 characters I really love, but 5 characters that I don't play. And I think that that's true for a lot of people out there, right? I really do, especially like this one, IG-12 and Grogu. A lot of you I know love him. We're not playing him. So, you know, I guess spam CG's forums and say, hey, let's get a kit upgrade. Let's get a better Omicron. Let's get some love in a territory, in a raid or something. Actually, yeah, this guy's gonna be in the raid. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Anyway, folks, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Like, tell me, give me some motivation, some inspiration to gear these people up and use them more if there is some. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.